strategic planning. So these analyses are required to be taken up. The internal, external stakeholder analysis, these analysis or appraisals are taken up in terms of establishing the objectives. Establishing the objectives, what they should be achieving. So setting a target, setting some tasks can be decided, or certain plans that are decided which can be implemented in the future. So that is about the purpose behind that. So that will help in establishing the objectives. On achieving these objectives, the overall ultimately the overall purpose of the organization also can be achieved. Okay, so that talks about how a different analysis can be taken up. The strategies are framed, these strategies are implemented, and when these strategies are implemented, then it will when it is implemented, it would be observed as to how they are implementing. What is the what's the result of that? What is the implementation? What is the performance? So performance analysis, the performance, the strategies that are framed, planned, now that have those strategies have to be implemented. So as they are implementing, their implementation is noted down, it is monitored, and then analyzing about the performance, the way it is being implemented. That's the performance analysis. That's chapter 4. Okay. Under performance analysis, we have quantitative analysis, benchmarking, and there is a model given by Balrich. So there are 3 different things. I think in today's class we will be doing these 3, and then I'll take it. So first one is quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis is basically financial in terms, in an analysis taken up based on the financial statements. When the financial statements are prepared and provided, based on financial statements, different kinds of analysis, like ratio analysis, comparative analysis, trend analysis. The tools which you have been learning from MA you've learned it, PM you have learned. So those things are all applicable here as part of quantitative analysis. See, in the examination, the chances of a quantitative analysis being asked, the chances are little less, because see, this candidate was already tested in these areas. See, to calculate ratios, it was tested. See, some kind of budgets preparation, variances, deciding on what are the standards for comparison later on. See, the candidate knows how to prepare that. So generally, it would not be. But I'm not saying it is completely ruled out. There is every possibility that you may be asked, but on a lesser possibility we are talking about. See, analyzing the financial statements and tables if, provided in the answer. So take up that. But generally, what's the strategy? I mean, what is this style of the question paper is? The quantitative analysis would already be taken up, and you need to comment upon the analysis. So that is what would be expected. Maybe a table is prepared, maybe there is some kind of calculations, ratios, some variables are already provided to us, and then we need to give the interpretation based on that. So that's the first one. See, numbers always give us information that is vital for analysis. The examiner expects students to do this, if not explicitly told to do so. Okay. Anything which is not provided in the appendix. Okay. So if it is required for your analysis, the question may be silent, but because such kind of analysis is not already provided in the appendix, in the tables, if it is needed, required for you to take a better analysis, then even if the question is silent, you feel that, let's say that maybe for example, profit margin is very crucial for you to comment about the profitability position. See, The question need not ask you to calculate profit. This is one example. Profitability ratios. You just have to do that, and then basing on that, your comment should be there. But if let's say it is already there in the appendix, you don't have to do that. So that's how you have to look into that. Calculate some key ratios when possible, such as what's the revenue growth, margins, gearing ratio, etc. Um, if that those things are required for you to elaborate better, you should be taking it up. Otherwise, check for what is given in the appendix and then follow it accordingly. Benchmarking. The next tool which is used is benchmarking. See, we are studying this as part of performance analysis. As part of performance analysis, next one is benchmarking. Benchmarking is basically it's a process of analyzing the performance. The part of analyzing the performance, one entity among multiple entities, one entity is considered to be as a benchmark or a standard. Then the standard's performance will be used so that the performance of other entities can be measured with the performance of the benchmark, and some suggestions can be given. So for example, in a college, let's say there is a college topper, there is a university topper, some topper is there. So then topper's performance, topper will become a benchmark. His performance will now be used so that later on any comparative analysis of other students' performance has to be taken up. Other students' performance will be compared with the college topper's performance. So this is a process that is involved. This comparative analysis that is taken up is called as benchmarking. But who's a benchmark? What is a benchmark? So benchmark, different types of benchmarks are there. Benchmark could be internal, benchmark could be competitive, benchmark could be best in class. If it is internal, so what does it mean by internal benchmark? Internal benchmarking is, see, there are multiple departments in an organization. So among the multiple departments, one department will be a benchmark. If because the department does very well, so it is understood to be the best among the departments, internal departments. So that department will then be considered as a benchmark. The performance of that department will be kept as a standard. Other entities, other internal departments, their performance also will be measured, and then a comparative analysis will be taken up. So each department's performance will now be compared with the performance of the benchmark, and if at all any suggestions are required, because they do not match with the performance of the benchmark, suggestions will be given for improvement. So that's one way to measure the performance or analyze the performance of entities. Internally, one internal unit, one department can be called as a benchmark. That's based on the performance. Okay, that comparative analysis that is taken up is the benchmark. It is a process which is involved so that performance can be measured, some suggestions can be given for future improvements. Okay. In the external environment also, in an industry, among the different competitors or the peers, one competitor could be maybe because of their performance, one business unit or one competitor can be a benchmark. So then the performance of the competitor becomes standard. Other competing businesses performance will be measured, and later on it will be used for comparative analysis. Internally, any one unit. Externally, external, among the competitors, one competitor. Sometimes it's not just the whole business unit, but maybe one specific activity or a process could be best in class. So uh, either an activity or a process is doing well instead of the whole business unit as a whole. um, we can see one activity which matches, I mean, which can be considered as a standard, will be decided as a benchmark. All other business units, all other businesses where this particular activity is carried on, this activity or process is carried on. Now, the performance of those activities or processes will be compared with the benchmark process or activity, and then later on some suggestions can be given. Generally, internal activities compared with others, it may not work out in competing businesses. Because it, sharing of these details or information, many competitors do not agree. So maybe this best in class process or activity comparison works out in non-competing businesses. It may not work out so well with competitors, competing businesses. So let's look at another model, Baldrige Performance Excellence Model. Okay. To measure the performance, so there is a model which is explained by Baldrige. Baldrige talks about, we see that there is a flow chart. There are activities that are connected to measure the performance. Point number one starts with the leadership. Then that's connected to strategic planning. So the leader would be involved in planning for the organization. Then it focuses on the customer and market. 1, 2, 3. So who are the customers and what's the focus of the market? Okay. Then fourth one is measurement, analysis, and knowledge management. Measurement, analysis, and knowledge management. Five is workforce. So workforce focus. Consider the people in the organization workforce. Then how do they implement or carry out with their process? That's 6. Ultimately achieving the result. So to measure the performance, so Baldrige Performance Excellence Model talks about the leader is first involved in strategic planning. The strategic planning is focused on the external factors. The external factors are the customer and the market focus. So take into account the external environment and the factors that are present in that. Take into consideration the internal factors also, workforce focus. See, but the strategies that are implemented also do take into account um, the way it would be measured, analyzed, and the knowledge that is available utilizing that. See the external factor, internal factors together, how they implement that, and then ultimately achieve the result. You need to remember this image, and then when you elaborate that in your exam, so because this would have to be connected to a particular situation given in the examination, there is a case study, you need to take it up. Talk about what is the role of leader, who's the leader, what are his ideologies, style of functioning, etc. So then what is his plan, strategic planning? So talk about that. So number wise, you just remember this image, whether you draw it or not. See, roughly you can also I mean, if possible, scribble that. But otherwise, 7 points you just have to remember, because it's a computer-based exam, it may not be possible. So just remember 7 points. So each point under that, whatever is that particular case study in that situation, what is this point number 1? Explain that. Point number 2, strategic planning. So in that particular case study, what is it? Go on explaining that until the 7th one. What result did they achieve that? So that is how. Time permits, we will also take up a simple small case study on Balrich performance excellence. Okay. The mission, to achieve the mission, objectives have to be established. If objectives are to be established, different types of analysis are to be taken up. Based on that and those analysis, then what is the expected performance is noted down. This expected performance would then be compared with the desired performance. If they both match, fine. If they do not match, if there is a gap has to be closed. If the gap has to be closed, what are the strategic options that are available? I hope we are all on the same line. You're able to understand how we are moving ahead step by step. So after measuring the performance, so what is possible for them, it is noted down. Then what are the strategic choices that they have? The strategic choices that they have, uh, which can be implemented to ensure that ultimately the organizational objectives are achieved. So the purpose is achieving the organizational objectives. So ultimately to achieve that, what choices do they have? That is what we will be looking into. So as part of strategic choices, the competitive strategies, we would be learning about what is the strategic law, maintaining how competitive advantage can be maintained, what are the different growth strategies that are available, then how these strategies are evaluated. So as part of that, we will learn about strategies for competitive advantage. This is the model given by, once again, given by Porter only, Porter's competitive advantage model. Then we will learn about what is strategic law. Maybe strategic law today we will not take it up. Then how to sustain the competitive advantage. Okay. For growth aspects, there is a model given by answer, and then other things. Today's class, we'll just learn about strategies for competitive advantage. So we'll just learn that part of it in today's class. I'll put another slide. Because there's no image given here, so I just want to put another slide so you can understand that much clearer. So that's only see, this is called as, this model is called as generic competitive analysis model of Porter's competitive advantage model. Okay. How can they have an advantage, competitive advantage over others? He has explained that categorizing the markets into two different categories. One is a broad category, broad market, and narrow market. So how do we understand the attributes of a broad market? Broad market where there are many customers and many suppliers also. Okay, many sellers are present in the Broad market, lot of activity going on. Narrow market, not much is going on. Very few customers, very few suppliers are present in the narrow market. A broad market, um, there can be two strategies which can be adopted. Any one of them can be adopted. First strategy is a strategy of having a cost leadership. So cost leadership talks about keeping their costs absolutely under control. Cost leadership strategy. See, when we talk about cost control should never be understood as compromising on the quality. It is only about cutting down on the cost. Cut down on the cost without compromising on the quality by identifying non-value added activities. Some of the activities do not add any value as such. They are taken up, eliminate them. So by eliminating those non-value added activities, cost can be under control. We have defined this to be as a broad market. Many sellers are there. So when there are many sellers, when the market is market where there is competition, pure competition, many sellers, more or less everybody offers the same selling price, because it would become price sensitive. In that market, it is price sensitive. If there is a seller offering the products at a higher selling price, customers shift to the sellers who are offering at a lesser price. That is what is seen. So more or less everybody offers the same selling price. So the possibility of increasing the selling price to increase the profitability, it doesn't exist there, because market is broad. More or less everybody offers the same selling price. So the only way to maximize or get benefit is in terms of, now sales is the result. The equation of sales is given as cost plus profit. See, the concept of maximizing the profit arises when sales is maximized. One option is sales could be maximized, or the other alternative is cost is minimized. Then we see that profit can be maximized. So we have ruled out the possibility of maximizing the sales. So we are left with the only concept of minimizing the cost. So somebody can take up the strategy of having a cost leadership. Cost leadership focusing on what's the cost that is incurred and how well they can have their costs under control. So because selling price is kind of fixed, everybody's offering, if their costs are under control, better profits can be earned. See, there are certain situations where they are compelled to give a discount. Some seasons, see, right now, so this is festival season in India for us. We see that across all brands, markets, shops, products, electronic mode, everywhere now this discount sale is there. Name it, it is festival sale, name it anything, be it under any category, any title. Right now, we are going through that phase where discounts are off. How genuine, that's a different story, but discounts are going on. See, in for some it may not even be feasible, but they're compelled to survive in the market, to stay there, they're compelled to give discount. So such situations also may arise. See, when such situations arise, to give discount, offer discount to the customers also, they still will be able to survive well, because their costs are absolutely under control, because they've adopted a strategy of cutting down on the cost leadership strategy. Okay. Second strategy is differentiation strategy, product differentiation. What does it mean? It talks about attracting the customers or increasing their profitability by attracting customers, offering them differentiated products, enhanced features. See, always we can remember mobile phones is the best example, which we talk about as a differentiated strategy. See, there was kind of a revolution which happened in mobile phones. Um, see, maybe some 10, 20 years back, 20 years back, let's say, if the concept of mobile has gained some momentum, within this time, it is a revolution only which it has happened. Every time there is a model which is launched, it comes with enhanced features, and people are now uh, it's kind of not able to even carry on with their daily activities without a mobile phone or cell phone. Why? Because there are so many differentiated features. See, one seller trying to compete with the other is competing in terms of adding more features. For that matter, it's just not the mobile. So all electronic products also now are launched as differentiated products. We see that. See, all electronic products have become smart. The smart TV, smart fridge, whatnot. Everything is so smart. They are, I mean, not physically being present also with the connectivity to the internet also they are now being operated. We see there is a kind of a revolution happened. What was the reason behind that? Each seller is looking at adding enhanced features to the customers, differentiated features. Generally I always give this, I like this giving this example in case of differentiation. See, toothpaste is one example. In India, especially, we had those traditional methods like cleaning the teeth with charcoal and neem sticks. So people felt that was kind of uh, very uncivilized manner. So they then we had this tooth powders were introduced and toothpaste was introduced. Um, Toothpaste for a very long time was toothpaste. Then we see that toothpaste had every ingredient from the kitchen. We could see that in toothpaste. It was there. Salt was there. This was there. That was there. Name it, and it was there. Life goes a full circle, and then slowly toothpaste also has started saying that we have neem in that, and now we see that companies are claiming that there is charcoal in their toothpaste. So what is all going around? This is all about trying to compete with others by making their product different from the others, differentiation. Okay, so now in a broad market there are two strategies. One is a leadership strategy, cost leadership strategy. The other one is a product differentiation strategy. They both are contradictory in nature. Cost leadership is focusing on cutting down on the cost. Differentiation strategy is focusing on adding more features. How is it possible to add more features unless and until there is something spent on research and development? See, when they spend a lot on research and development, only it becomes possible to enhance the features of the products. So contradictory in nature. See, they are contradicting each other. See, cost leadership cuts down on the cost. Leadership differentiation spends more cost. So at the same time, both strategies cannot be adopted. Either of them can be adopted. Anything, the choice is there because the market is broad. Narrow market, they cannot experiment much in a narrow market. Whatever is prevailing, focus on that. See, sometimes in some of the markets, cost leadership is the strategy that's prevailing. So focus on that. Some markets it is differentiation. Focus on differentiation. So this is about um, the model explained by Porter in terms of competitive advantage. So strategies for competitive advantage focuses on either cost leadership or differentiation or based on a narrow market, whatever is the focus that has to be put on. So put the focus on that. Okay. We'll continue tomorrow with the content. I will mark the attendance. I don't know how much time it will take. Uh, I don't know how it works out, but let's see. Aaron Anthony. If you're there, just say present. Physically present, mentally absent, cannot help. But are you there, Aaron Anthony? Abhijit?
Present, ma'am.
Abhimanyu? I don't see him here. Abhimanyu. Abhishek Nair?